Our next topic is the business climate and the infrastructure. What do you do on council to foster a positive climate for businesses and entrepreneurship here in Eau Claire? Please discuss your approach to economic development and infrastructure investment, for instance, supporting downtown development, industrial parks, to transportation and parking improvements, or some streamlined regulations, and how will these tie into job growth and a stronger tax base? And Jeremy, we'll start with you.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, kind of going back to, people have really high expectations for the city, which I think is great. So, that infrastructure piece, where we're providing, streets and clean water, police and fire protection, public transit, it really helps, bring a positive business climate when we are making those investments. Also in the quality of life side of things, where it's easier to attract employees and jobs if people have a lot of things to do, and then there's a culture of like innovation as well as like the arts and music scene. I think that I was involved in a lot of the downtown redevelopment efforts 20 years ago. I was on the Downtown Eau Claire Incorporated board when I was just out of college in 2007. So I've been involved in a lot of the revitalization. I think we need to bring that kind of energy and things that we learned from the downtown, like to other business districts throughout the city, and make sure that all neighborhoods have access to walkable and small business opportunities within the neighborhoods. So the zoning code overall helps in that direction, I think, and helps streamline some of those regulations. And I think that, ultimately we're lucky to have the Chamber of Commerce, that is a partner on helping bringing people together, whether that be on housing and homelessness or on business climate. And, I've been a member of the Chamber for 10 years, originally when I was with the Chippewa Valley Museum, and then as a council member, and then with Friends of the Library. So it's exciting that we have places for people to gather like this and look to the future.
Well, the good news in interacting with our economic development people is that there's been a lot of interest in coming to Eau Claire. There are a lot of organizations that want to invest here, a lot of local ones that want to expand. But the bad news is that we're running out of industrial space, and we have to be careful about having responsible growth and how we move forward. But that is going to be a challenge, and it gets into in capital and so forth. How can the city invest in a way that will actually be a return on investment? Downtown, Shirley and I travel a lot. We like to go to other cities, places where we can walk and use transit and that sort of thing. And we really have a special downtown here. We have a low vacancy rate, but we also know that a lot of our downtown businesses are struggling a little bit. And what is the answer to that, and how can we help them, is a challenge. I think it's positive that the city separated the function of Downtown Eau Claire Incorporated from the city, and in fact that's now allowed them to pursue becoming a Main Street community, which can help grow things. And then we always have to look at our transportation and infrastructure. It's a critical part of our community. It's a core function of the city. Some of you know that I've been involved in trying to bring passenger rail to our community. That would be a boon to economic development, to have an alternative for people to come from the Twin Cities, students, others, for us to get to other major cities. And a major part of just working with the community and with businesses is ensuring that I'm going back to those positive partnerships, that when we have regulations, when the city's interacting with businesses, that it's done as a customer, and that we have a bias of getting to yes when somebody wants to do something. If there's a legitimate roadblock to that, something that needs to be overcome, we certainly have to recognize this, but having that attitude that we're going to try to make that initiative or that business happen as long as we can maintain our standards is something that is more qualitative, but I think it's really important for the city to do that.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. And we do have a little bit of a follow-up, and you both touched on what I'm about to say about the transformation to our downtown in the past decade. And having lived here now 32 years in Eau Claire. We've had the Pablo Center, the renovation to the public library, the Children's Museum, the local businesses that both of you have talked about that might be struggling a little bit right now. So the follow-up, and we'll go to you, Scott, first, is Eau Claire's downtown and industrial areas are facing the growth pressures that you guys mentioned alongside some of the aging infrastructure. How would you prioritize investments to support business growth while ensuring equitable benefits across the whole city?
We do.
Yeah.
We do have a whole city. One of our benefits is that we have some big city amenities, but small town feel, you can get anywhere in 15 minutes if you live in the city. So strengthening the entire city is important. I think one of the other things we should step back and do is look at the productivity of every area of the city. And there are organizations that can do that. You look at where the property tax revenue is coming from, what kind of city investments are there, and you key how the city approaches that to that kind of effort. So downtown, we've got a parking ramp that's going to come down before too long, and we have some critical businesses that would be affected by that. So we have a special thing going on, but we really have to look ahead and be creative and innovative, and even look outside and bring some fresh ideas to that. So it's complex, but we really need to think return on investment, and that would be a big part of it.
Okay, thank you, Scott. Jeremy?
Thank you. Yeah, it's been quite a transformation since I moved here in the year 2000, and there's just a lot of work to do, which is why I'm really excited to stay here and continue the work. And I know a lot of downtown business owners that are nervous about one thing or another with construction, or with the city voted last year to do paid parking downtown as well. So we think we need to be very ready to adjust, and especially, paid parking is supposed to be a mechanism to make sure parking spaces are available in front of places that people want to go. So they need to be priced and appropriately, and it needs to be easy for people to use the system. So we need to be ready to make changes quickly and be responsive to the business community and to all the other visitors downtown, and make it easier to walk and bike and take transit downtown as well. So thanks.
Thank you.